You won't believe how many women are doing it. Teenagers, hot young stars, maybe even you. Young women lighting up cigarettes more and more. And did you know smoking hurts women more than men?
When you see pictures of yourself with a cigarette in your hand, you cringe.
Oh my God, it's awful.
Tonight, the inside story of cigarettes and women. Generations of mothers and daughters targeted by ingenious ads, promising sex appeal and independence.
It's part of your identity. The image is very important.
You've come a long way, baby, but look where I got you. Your lungs, once pretty and pink, drowning now in tar, blackened and corroding every time you inhale.
It's like a little toxic waste dump on fire.
These teenage girls think smoking looks cool, but this is what they could look like if they keep it up.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
We'll show you amazing technology that detects more damage even X-rays can't see. And watch this mother take her baby's breath away.
We're not going to see any breathing here.
Then meet a group of smokers watching this report together. Will it hit home?
Who's walking out of here a non-smoker?
Join us now for an hour that could change your thinking and your habits. Women and cigarettes, a fatal attraction.
Good evening. Did you light up a cigarette today? Did someone you love? Despite everything we know about the dangers of cigarettes, we're raising a whole new generation of smokers in this country, and increasingly, they are young women. What most people don't know is this: cigarettes are much more deadly for women than men. Think about that the next time you pick up a cigarette or see your favorite actress light up on the big screen.
It's Thursday night at the House of Blues in New Orleans, and there's a national DJ competition underway. For the young, hip crowd that's come to listen,
Fill this out and you get your free sample pack.
there are free cool cigarettes, the sponsor of this evening's event. It's the latest trend in tobacco marketing. Hot clubs and bars teaming up with cigarette companies to promote all sorts of events, all in the search for new smokers for their cigarettes. Increasingly, those smokers are women. In fact, young women represent the fastest growing group of smokers in this country. And that has health experts worried. What women don't know is that they face the biggest risk of all.
Cigarette for cigarette, women probably have 2 times higher the risk of developing lung cancer.
It's tobacco's smoky little secret. Women who smoke get sicker, and get sicker sooner than men who smoke. If you compare a man and a woman with similar smoking habits, women are twice as likely to die. Women like Dina Soloway, young and successful till cigarettes killed her. A photographer on TV and movie sets in Los Angeles, she underwent surgery for lung cancer at 25. Now her mother warns others at events like this run against teen smoking.
She died at age 28. Still young, still beautiful, and a message to tell: you are never too young or too beautiful to get lung cancer. Dina had lost all speech about 3 weeks before she died, and she wrote down to me on a piece of paper, "Continue on. Because if I need to go, I want somebody else to learn from my mistakes in life."
Ask 100 women what their #1 cancer killer is, and 75 will tell you breast cancer. They are wrong. While breast cancer killed 40,000 women last year, lung cancer's toll was more than 67,000. Nearly 90% of its victims die within 5 years of diagnosis. So why are women lighting up? Some use it for weight control. Others think it's still glamorous, a sign of sophistication and independence. The images are everywhere, including on our television sets. Millions of women are addicted to HBO's Sex and the City, and Sarah Jessica Parker's character, newspaper columnist Carrie, is addicted to cigarettes. So was Bridget Jones in this year's blockbuster movie. From the movies to models, sometimes it seems all the beautiful people smoke. Christy Turlington used to.
I started roughly at the age of 13.
Do you remember thinking it was chic?
I do, and I remember smoking at a party, and another girl saying to me, "Oh wow, you smoke so well."
Model, businesswoman, and now anti-smoking crusader, Christy grew up surrounded by smoke. Her father, an airline pilot, was a smoker too.
I grew up in a household where he smoked freely, and in cars where windows were rolled up and we were all in the back seat complaining and covering our noses and hating it. And at a certain point, I don't know, it just turned, and so I tried it again, and tried it until I liked it.
When she decided to quit the habit, it took her 6 years to finally succeed. Her father, her hero, never could. Once strong, he began having pain.
And I can't really describe what it was, but I knew that he was sick.
Lung cancer had silently taken hold. Despite surgery to remove his lung and intensive chemotherapy, Christy's father died just 6 months after his diagnosis. The disease literally took his breath away.
The last exhale was just very smooth and just kind of continued till there was none. And just so quick.
Now Christy remembers her own smoking days with dismay.
When you see pictures of yourself with a cigarette in your hand, do you cringe?
Oh my God, it's awful, awful.
She had almost the same reaction when we showed her a photo spread in the New York Times Magazine in which Kate Hudson holds cigarettes, like fashion accessories, in half the pictures.
I mean, this is really unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure that Kate Hudson has no idea what that would do to other young people who might look up to a young starlet as herself. I mean, in the same way that I didn't as a model.
But do images like these really influence whether young people begin to smoke? Some studies show they do.
And action.
Hollywood director-producer Rob Reiner is convinced.
I think it's a big problem.
And the problem recently hit close to home with last year's Castle Rock release, Proof of Life, where Meg Ryan smokes throughout the film.
So how am I doing?
This is an embarrassment for me because that's a film coming out of my company. It was shocking to me to see Meg Ryan lighting up a cigarette.
Reiner isn't opposed to all smoking in films, but wants actors, writers, and directors to think more about whether it's really necessary.
Because I firmly believe if actors and directors knew that they are actually causing young people to start smoking as a result of that, they might think twice about it.
And think twice about this. After dipping in the 70s and 80s, following the first Surgeon General's report on the dangers of tobacco, smoking in the movies increased dramatically in the 90s. Coincidence or not, it paralleled an upswing in smoking among teens, especially girls. But it's not just the amount of smoking, it's who's doing it. According to one study, actors smoking are getting younger.
Well, we were just heading out to smoke. You want to join us?
Take the film's Center Stage and Down to You, both popular with young females. In both movies, the young stars smoke. And here, the brand is identifiable. Something else that concerns critics like tobacco researcher Stanton Glantz of the University of California, San Francisco.
Why did the little monsters and men in black have to be taking a carton of Marlboro cigarettes with them? Why does Julia Roberts have to be sitting there with a pack of Marlboro cigarettes between her legs?
And it's not just Marlboro. Take this scene from Stigmata, or this one from Great Expectations.
If I'm a cigarette company, I'm going like, this is, eureka, I've hit pay dirt here. And basically, you've got a free commercial for Kools there, and for cigarette smoking in general. It's fabulous.
So as teens flock to the movies and rent videos in ever greater numbers, they're still getting the message, smoking is cool. Studies show that 90% of smokers, like these young girls, start before they are 18. And new evidence indicates they may even become addicted more quickly than adults. And special brain scans of the prefrontal cortex indicate that the connections controlling impulsive behavior are not completely wired until adulthood, leading some researchers to believe that young smokers cannot comprehend the consequences of their actions. And young girls often begin smoking shockingly early. Susan Levine's daughter, Dina, was just 13.
Dina thought that smoking was very glamorous because every magazine had people smoking in it. The movie industry, every glamorous person had a cigarette in their hand. So Dina always imitated them.
Sometimes girls imitate members of their own families. Gabby was just 12.
My sisters were doing it, and my brother, oh, well, I want to fit in, so if I do it, they'll think I'm cool and, accept me. So then I started doing it.
Nikki was even younger.
Well, the first time I picked one up was when I was in like 3rd grade. I was with just a couple of my friends. We all wanted to try it.
By the time they are adults and want to quit, they often can't. And if they become pregnant, that cigarette can affect the baby too, by increasing the risk of premature birth, low birth weight, mental retardation, and after the baby is born, sudden infant death. Yet according to national surveys, a startling 20 to 25% of all expectant women smoke during their pregnancies. Lisa Keenley is among them.
I want to quit. I fear that I'm not motivated enough.
Lisa, 6 months pregnant with her first child, is in the Bronx office of Dr. Frank Manning. An expert in high-risk pregnancy, he has spent over 20 years studying the effects of smoking on fetuses.
Here's the baby's head up over here. The baby's tail is down over here. There's the baby's heart to give us a landmark. That's the center of the baby's chest. Here's the baby's
a fetus gets its oxygen from its mother's blood, but its lung muscles still move.
Here it is here. You see it right here. Breath. Breath, breath. See this little oscillation going on?
But watch what happens to that breathing when Dr. Manning allows Lisa to light up one of the 20 cigarettes she smokes each day to show her what it's doing to her baby.
But you can see we're not going to see any breathing here.
The lungs stop as the cigarette smoke cuts down the amount of oxygen in the baby's blood supply. Here you see much less movement of the chest wall compared to the ultrasound image taken while the baby is breathing.
Do you think it's at all possible to leave here today and not smoke another cigarette?
I can try. I can try.
Just seeing what each cigarette does to her baby worries Lisa enough to cut her smoking in half, but she still can't quit. Quitting is difficult. Recent studies have shown that women have an even harder time stopping than men, and researchers are trying to discover why. Every year, millions try to stop, but only 2% succeed. The rest go on puffing, and some, like Dina, end up dying.
Once, smoking was only for men. So why did women start? Well, we were sold, and sold hard on it. Smoking is independence. Smoking keeps us thin. Smoking keeps us calm. No one ever said it would end up killing more women each year than breast cancer. So where are the marches, the races, the anger? Where are the leaders speaking out and saying, enough?
Millions of us do this tens of millions of times a day. And when we do, this is what happens. Each time we take that puff, the smoke travels from our throat into our bronchial tubes, then deep into our lungs until it finally reaches each individual cell in our body, where it wreaks destruction and sometimes causes death. But smoke is not an equal opportunity killer, and now new research is pointing out why.
It seems that women break down carcinogens or cancer-producing products in cigarette smoke differently than men.
Take a deep breath.
Dr. Diane Stover, chief of pulmonology at New York's Memorial Sloan Kettering Medical Center, says that while men can break down many compounds in cigarette smoke into harmless chemicals, women cannot. In fact, there is evidence our hormones may make them even more potent.
They become more active and go into cancer-producing products.
This is a human lung, and this is tar, the thick, oil-like substance that carries all those cancer-causing chemicals into the lungs with every drag on a cigarette. This is what a pack-a-day smoker breathes in each year. Imagine what it's doing to your lungs. Danny Woodrum of Chesney, South Carolina knows what it did to hers. After smoking for 8 years, she inhaled her last cigarette when she was 25, the day her father got a serious scare about his own smoking.
You can breathe, but don't move.
At age 32, Danny was told what she thought was pneumonia was lung cancer instead. The mother of 3 was stunned.
I thought I was too young for that, and I thought, oh, I'll stop smoking soon enough.
Doctors removed her left lung, and she endured months of chemotherapy and radiation. Today, she and her husband are back at Duke University, where her cancer was treated. Dr. Jennifer Garst is her oncologist.
How have you been since the last time I saw you?
Good. Every time something hurts, I worry, and then the next day it doesn't, so I know that it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm a hypochondriac now.
We look at the lateral.
Though Danny is doing well, fear of a recurrence is never far from her mind.
Yes, this is good news.
So I knew we could easily go home to our children, or we could go to the chemotherapy room. So we just walk a fine line every time we come.
What cancers in the body can you relate to cigarette smoking, besides cancer of the lung?
The nose, the sinuses, the throat, the vocal cords, the esophagus, the stomach, the pancreas, the kidney, uterus, cervical cancer, and some indication that colon cancer might be related to smoking. Personally, I think probably all cancer somehow is related to tobacco use.
And one very controversial theory debated by medical researchers right now is a link between smoking and breast cancer. Dr. Glantz believes the link is real.
There's about a 30% increase in risk of breast cancer among people who are both smokers and passive smokers. And that, if you look at what fraction of breast cancer that would account for, it's like a third.
Why? The cancer-causing chemicals in smoke accumulate in fatty tissue. That may make breast tissue, which is high in fat, a target.
And there's 1 or 2 studies showing that exposure of girls during puberty and first pregnancy are the highest risk times. And those are periods of rapid development in the breast. And that's when you would expect the carcinogens to be the most dangerous.
How did we become a nation where 35% of high school girls and 30% of college women smoke, risking all kinds of smoking-related diseases? Year by year, woman by woman, they were aggressively recruited, sold the image, according to marketing professor Rick Pillay, who has testified in trials against big tobacco.
A cigarette is known as a badge product, and as you wear the cigarette before you consume it, you display it to yourself and to others. It's part of your identity. The image is very important.
Pillay has studied how those cigarette advertising images affect women. Take this ad for Winston.
This is a tough ad. I mean, a woman's got her cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
That toughness is appealing to that rebellious nature. And it's not just rebellion against parents. This is also now the rebelliousness of smokers.
Rebellion sells. So do the messages behind these ads for Virginia Slims.
All of this is just a notion of independence and autonomy. It's a way of appealing to women's desire to be competent and effective in the modern world.
But while the ads are modern, some of the messages date back to the 1920s, when smoking by women was considered scandalous. The Charleston was in, and suffragettes had just won the right to vote when tobacco companies first took aim at women. 2 marketing campaigns would set the stage for years to come. Message 1, smoke and stay thin.
Here's an ad for Lucky Strike that shows the shadow of the fat chin. And reach for a Lucky instead, and the campaign had been instead of a sweet. So don't eat candy, smoke instead.
The message sold cigarettes. So did a second Lucky campaign. This time, the tobacco maker convinced 10 debutantes to smoke in the Easter Day parade. It called their cigarettes Torches of Freedom. Message 2, smoking is independence. By the 1930s, smoking rates among women had tripled. Tobacco companies even held classes on the subject.
They went to great pains to teach women how to smoke.
Lick your lips so your cigarette doesn't stick.
That's correct.
How to open up a pack of cigarettes.
And how to butt out a cigarette. The idea was how to handle a cigarette and not look unladylike.
Over the next 20 years, cigarettes were romanticized in song. Glamorous celebrities appeared in cigarette ads. Movies and television helped spread the image too.
Hey, the last one. You better get another pack.
By the 1960s, 1 in 3 American women was lighting up. The second wave of the women's movement had kicked into gear, and on its heels, the launch of Virginia Slims.
In 1910, Mrs. Pamela Benjamin was caught smoking in the gazebo.
The first cigarette made just for women. Once again, images of women's independence and thinness were used to sell cigarettes.
Tailored for the feminine hand, slimmer than the fat cigarettes men smoke.
The Virginia Slims campaign triggered the biggest growth in tobacco advertising targeting women. At the same time, fears about the dangers of smoking were growing too, and some women were beginning to quit. Industry responded by introducing new low-tar and light cigarettes, and we bought them in record numbers.
Women, whether they're either more motivated or more gullible, is hard to say, but they've been first to accept these new and improved product forms. And new and improved should be in quotation marks because they're not much improved.
In fact, smoking-related deaths among women were on the rise and would continue to grow.
Should women feel used?
Well, I think they should feel that they've been psychologically exploited, that there's been careful research to understand what will entice them into smoking, and that the ads carefully crafted to appeal to those what are known as hot buttons.
When cigarette commercials were banned from the air in the early 70s, ads in women's magazines quadrupled. But those same magazines had barely a peep about the dangers of smoking. Then, in 1990, Grace Mirabella, the longtime and legendary editor of Vogue, launched her own magazine, Mirabella, and published a series of daring articles about tobacco marketing to women.
I suddenly got angry and thought, we've got to tell them, they've got to get this word out there. They've got to know that they're target practice.
We asked Philip Morris and RJR for interviews about their marketing techniques. Both refused, though RJR did send us a letter saying, "We do not encourage non-smokers to start smoking, and we do not want children to smoke." Today, women's magazines are still filled with tobacco advertising, and some critics believe it affects how smoking is covered. Last year, 15 leading women's magazines carried nearly 650 health articles, 19 on breast cancer, but only 2 on smoking. Grace Mirabella wonders why editors haven't been more responsible.
What's amazing to me is that women haven't gotten together to fight being the target for lung cancer. They get together to do things, women against drunken drivers, women and breast cancer.
Good morning, everybody.
Dina's mother, Susan Levine, is a breast cancer survivor, but she wears the transparent ribbon of lung cancer in memory of her daughter because, she says, the disease is invisible. She has tried unsuccessfully to get celebrities or the fashion industry involved in her cause.
Nobody, not one celebrity or not one person whose name is well known that would like to be connected with lung cancer.
Why do you think that is?
I think because it's one of the ugliest cancers of all cancer. Because also, lung cancer has a phenomena that you did it to yourself.
After Christy Turlington's father died of lung cancer, she wanted to warn other smokers about the dangers they face.
My life, there are 2 people in my family who've quit smoking. Me
She found
and my
she was
dad.
the only major
For me, it
celebrity
took
willing to
7
speak out
years.
on the issue.
Nothing worked. When I finally did quit for good, I knew it was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life.
She is now working with the Centers for
dad?
Disease Control to get her
It was
story
different
out.
for him. He stopped December 1996. Just 6 months before he died from lung cancer.
There's incredible stigma attached to lung cancer or
a blame the victim mentality.
You knew what you were dealing with. You know, it's your fault.
Right.
You know, you deserve this.
But with lung cancer, whose fault is it?
I really think that it might be a choice to pick up your first cigarette. But once you're addicted, it's a whole other thing. And then it's not a matter of choice anymore.
There are two things most smokers do to make themselves feel safe: get yearly chest x-rays and smoke light cigarettes. But it turns out neither really matters. X-rays rarely catch problems until it's too late, and light cigarettes aren't really safer. So now, let me introduce you to some women who will give you the unfiltered facts. 9 out of 10 people with lung cancer don't get diagnosed until it's too late, because x-rays usually don't pick up the problem. Danny Woodrum had several x-rays taken when she began feeling chest pains. None of them showed the tumor in her lungs. Christy's father got a chest x-ray every year, his last just months before his death. But she says it never caught the cancer spreading in his body either.
Even when he first started to get the symptoms for the lung cancer, nothing showed up.
Dr. Claudia Henschke of New York Hospital says there is a way to diagnose the disease earlier with a new test called a spiral CT scan. Regular x-rays only pick up lung cancers early enough to be cured 7% of the time. The spiral CT improves those odds to 80%.
So 80% are in that earliest form where it's small, where it's curable, where simple surgery will remove it, and there's a great chance that that person will be cured for life.
Here you see what looks like a normal chest x-ray. Here, a spiral CT scan of the same lung. This tiny spot is a cancer that doesn't show up on the x-ray. Because she grew up around secondhand smoke and smoked herself, Christy Turlington wanted to get the new test.
It's still in the back of my mind, I think, having seen my father, die so quickly.
You're going to be hearing some breathing instructions, basically.
I want to know that I'm okay.
Unexpectedly, Dr. Henschke says some of the airways in Christy's lungs are showing extremely subtle changes.
I do see a little bit of emphysema.
Really?
I'm glad you stopped. This is very, very early, and there's nothing for you to worry about.
The changes in Christy's airways are so minute that no other screening device would have even discovered them. They don't cause any symptoms, and they never will. Without the scan, she wouldn't even know about them. They don't affect her lung capacity at all. Christy is lucky. She is completely healthy because she stopped smoking in time.
You should be fine, and I see nothing else.
But if Christy had remained a smoker, the outcome could be quite different. Doctors say these kinds of changes often lead to severe emphysema in long-term smokers.
I have never seen an active smoker that I couldn't show substantial destruction going on in their lungs that we
California doctor Harvey Eisenberg's total body scan shows incredible detail. This is normal lung tissue.
It looks like a sponge, because the lung is a sponge.
Right.
It's there to absorb.
Here is a lung riddled with emphysema. It looks like Swiss cheese.
So this is like the old sponge that's rotted away and can't absorb anymore, and that's what emphysema really is.
Severe emphysema is a debilitating disease where the air sacs of the lungs deteriorate, leaving patients dependent on oxygen tanks and gasping for breath. This next scan shows an early-stage lung cancer.
And this is actually a mass, a tumor, and that's what a cancer would look like.
I know all about cancer. I'm a head and neck surgeon, and cigarettes cause most of the disease I see, of the mouth, tongue, throat, and larynx. Catherine Louth is 37 and has been my patient for 7 years. Her problem began with a tiny sore on her tongue. Catherine, an assistant district attorney, smoked for just 7 years, just half a pack a day.
It seemed like that smoking made over a pretty short time, like 2 or 3 months, made that little cut become bigger and bigger.
Right. That sore was the beginning of tongue cancer. The usual treatment is surgery to remove the cancerous portion of the tongue. But Catherine wanted to preserve her ability to speak, and she opted for radiation and chemotherapy instead. It worked, though the treatment injured her face muscles.
And I feel blessed every day I'm alive.
Her lisp is the result.
A great day.
The enormous dose of radiation it took also damaged the muscles in her shoulder, making her left arm useless. But Catherine is alive and still practicing law.
And I just wish if one young woman would not think it was cool and would not do it because they thought it was glamorous. But it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Smokers face other increased risks as well. Heart disease is women's #1 killer, and women who smoke triple their risk over non-smokers. That's because the chemicals in smoke damage blood vessels. You can see it here in this infrared picture of the circulation in the hand. Now look at just what one cigarette does. The blue color means that the blood vessels have constricted as circulation is cut down. And young women who smoke and take birth control pills greatly increase their risk of blood clots and stroke. But serious health problems are far from the minds of most young girls when they pick up their first cigarette. They just want to fit in.
And I was just doing it to look good.
We gathered this group of Florida teenagers together over pizza to ask why they smoked. At 14, Nikki is already a veteran.
You get addicted. It's like your friend.
Jen began at 13, blowing the smoke out her bedroom window to hide its smell.
It didn't taste good, but I don't know why I just kept doing it. I just kept doing it. Because I guess I was just trying to fit in.
And they smoke to rebel.
When teens are told not to do something, they want to do it more.
Or when they're upset.
My mom and my stepdad had gotten divorced, and I kind of took it really hard. So me and my friend just thought, well, let's try smoking. So we did, and I liked it.
It is young smokers like these that Christy is trying to reach.
When Brooke Shields years ago stuck cigarettes up her nose and out of her ears and sort of made fun of the whole tobacco thing, what did other models say?
It's a great campaign now that I look at it, but at the time I remember thinking, oh, what a goody-goody.
How will a teenager listen to you now and believe you?
I'm talking about my experience as a person who was addicted to tobacco. I started smoking at the critical age when most young people start to pick up a cigarette. I think they can relate to that honesty.
Christy, like these girls, grew up with smoke. A smoking parent doubles the risk that a child will too. But these girls have all enrolled in a special class at Lyman High School in Altamont Springs to help them stop.
It takes up a lot of money, and it's not healthy, and it's unattractive.
They learn to be aware of the triggers that make them want to smoke. Stress, depression, boyfriends, parents. And they are taught alternatives to satisfy the cravings, like deep breathing, or licking a lollipop, or writing in a journal.
1, 2, 3. I am ready to stop smoking.
Jeannie Newman is a 49-year-old teacher in Westchester, New York. She started smoking when she was a teenager too. She's been hooked ever since.
I'm obviously very dependent on it, whether it's the chemical dependency of nicotine, whether it's the behavioral dependency.
It was not 7 weeks.
Her 13-year-old daughter, Katie, has so far resisted the destiny of most children of smokers who become smokers themselves. She wants her mom to quit.
The point is that you start it up again. It's nasty, it's trashy. She's acting like she's like 20 again. It's not great.
Everything she says is right. You know, I do hold myself to a higher standard, except for this.
Jeannie even switched to a low-tar, low-nicotine brand to ease her worries about health risks.
I thought it was a healthier cigarette for me and a half.
Not exactly. It turns out you cannot necessarily tell how much tar or nicotine you're getting, no matter what it says on the pack. That's because the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, tests cigarettes using a method that greatly underestimates the tar and nicotine that smokers inhale. And those are the numbers that legally appear on cigarette packs. Real people smoke differently. Here at the American Health Foundation in New York, researchers compared the government, or FTC standard, against actual smokers. We bring Jeannie in for a test. This machine calibrates the way she smokes. And then the FTC machine is set up to mimic it.
This is according to FTC.
Dr. Mary Anna DeGeorgievich shows Jeannie she is actually getting 3 times more tar and nicotine than the FTC test of her brand of cigarette indicates. You can see it on these filters. Much of this is going right into her lungs.
You know, there is no safe cigarette. And there is no such a thing like
Right.
light.
I'm furious. I feel duped. I'm amazed at how much I learned. I thought that I was smoking a safer cigarette. It's not safer.
That sludge is where the real killers are. From carbon monoxide to cancer-causing chemicals to toxic metals. More than 4,000 chemicals in all.
The way I look at a cigarette is it's like a little toxic waste dump on fire.
The tar, not the nicotine, contains the harmful chemicals. Nicotine is just the lure, the drug that gets you hooked. And it's powerful, too. It's the only drug that works on two parts of the brain, energizing and calming at the same time.
Why I keep doing this is beyond me, you know? So, I mean, don't you think I'm at that point where it's time just to say, enough?
6 weeks after our test, Ginny does quit. It's a big 50th birthday present to herself. And how are our Florida teenagers doing?
Let me just ask right off the bat. Raise your hand if you have quit completely.
Jen and Nikki and Gabby have stopped. Stacy and Ann are still puffing away. The fears of dying have certainly not motivated them, but concern about their looks is another matter. Smoking can cause sallow yellow skin, stain fingers and teeth, erode gums, and cause gum disease. And, as medical studies have shown, it causes premature wrinkling. Here are identical twins. The one on the left was the smoker. You can see more wrinkling around her eyes and mouth compared to her sister. And when we show our teenage girls computer-generated images of their smoke-induced skin damage and wrinkles in 20 years' time, their reaction was immediate.
Oh, my face lines are so gross. Why did you do this to me, dude? Ew! Ew! I don't even look cute. No way, I have to be cute when I'm old.
That's sick.
It's so much funnier when it's somebody else. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Oh no. That is disgusting. I am so happy that I quit. I look like my grandma. That's ugliness.
After seeing this, Ann and Stacy vow to quit too. Ironically, it wasn't looks that got Christy to quit. Though she thrives in a world where appearance is everything, it was health that motivated her. And today she knows that decision to give up cigarettes might very well have saved her life.
I'm just so thankful that I was able to give up. So thankful.
We've gathered a group of young women together to watch our program. They are all smokers. And since this hour is about them, we wanted to see if it hit home. Tara.
I'm 16 and I've been smoking for about 5 years.
So you started when you were 11?
Yep. My mother, she smoked a lot and there were cigarettes all over the house and I just picked one up one day and...
Sarah, were you aware that your daughter was smoking?
I caught her smoking when she was 13, and I sat her down, and I made her smoke one cigarette after the other. And after the 5th cigarette, when she was enjoying it, I realized I had a problem.
Nicole?
When I was about, 10, 12, so I had one cigarette. It choked me to death, though. And my mom, she got really mad at me, but she smoked.
The two of you, starting so young, having smoking mothers in the house, that played a big role.
Yeah.
Do you think models like Christy Turlington, so beautiful, willing to come forward and say, I'm throwing my cigarettes away, do you think Christy will make a difference?
Not by the fact that she's a celebrity, but to see what's happened to her and her father, and it's just sad. I think it's more about the truth than it is about who says it.
Kelly, your reaction when you watched the program?
When you light that cigarette every day, you don't think to yourself the effects it has in your body. You don't think, I'm going to die of lung cancer. It's almost like you live in denial. And watching that just makes me sick, because I could just imagine what my lungs are like.
What are the things that drive you through the day to want to pick up a cigarette?
Stress.
And the nicotine calms you down?
Yeah. Also, like eating, I quit smoking 3 months ago, and the withdrawals I went through were awful, and then I put 20 pounds on, and I started smoking again.
The two biggest things for women, probably stress and to lose weight.
Yeah.
The young woman you saw, who was a patient of mine, is in her 30s. The other woman who lost a lung and is 32. And when you don't have a lung, it's hard to walk up a half a flight of steps.
It's hard anyway with smoking anyway. So.
Can you feel if you're winded?
Yeah, definitely.
I work out, but I don't do any kind of workout where I have to breathe heavily because I just can't do
the aerobics or the running.
Because I feel like I can't breathe.
Or you tell yourself, I'm going to stop, but you go out that night with friends and you're at the bar. And it's always the worst because the day after, my lungs feel exhausted. Exhausted. I can barely talk the next day. But then you just keep doing it.
Michelle?
Is it really worth it? You know, after seeing, you know, people that are 28 years old, that's 4 years away from where I am right now, dying of lung cancer, is it really worth it? You know, I'm only 16, you know, so I have a lot of time. You know, I have 30 years to quit before I even start, you know, needing a respirator or something. Like a year goes by and it's like, yeah, okay, I'll quit this year, you know, I'll quit next year. And it just keeps going by and by, and you keep putting it off and you put yourself in denial.
You guys probably think you have a long time to quit.
Exactly.
That's why it's not such a big deal for you to stop now, because you have like 10 more years before you really need to start thinking about having lung cancer.
But you really don't, because the girl died at 28.
Yeah, I'm at that point now where I'm 32 and I'm thinking, okay, do I have lung cancer now? And like every time I feel a pain in my chest, I'm like, okay, do I have something, or am I being a hypochondriac? Still, you know, you get that craving for a cigarette, and I'm like, oh, I'm just being neurotic. No worries, I'll be fine. And then I have a cigarette.
Are these your cigarettes?
No, they are mine.
You watched the segment.
Yes.
Took out your Marlboros and you ripped them all in half.
I was appalled to find out that a chest x-ray is invalid, basically. I had one 2 weeks ago and was told my lungs look great. And now I find out that that's probably not true. So here I was thinking, okay, you know, I smoked 30 years. I can continue.
Are you going to stick with this?
Oh, yeah.
You're done?
Yes.
What's making you so sad right now?
I remember my dad died of cancer, and I remember him asking me to stop smoking before he died. And I promised him I wouldn't, I didn't.
You're going to make the promise today. I sit here with the presumption that you want to quit. Is there anyone here who doesn't want to quit? So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new non-smokers. And I want to thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.